Today I'm tackling part 2 of Best of 2024 series, where I pick my top 5 favorite, most loved, most used products in each category and share them with you. I've already done part 1 where I went over my complexion products, primers, setting spray, foundation, concealer, and powders. Today we're doing bronzers, contours. I just had to separate those two. They're just two different products. They do different things to my face. Blush and highlighter. So that's what we're talking about today. I will say this was pretty difficult because I have loved so many blushes, so many bronzers. Highlighter was pretty easy, but these two categories were very difficult. However, I feel like this really represents the products that I truly love this year. So let's get started. I have here a drink and this is wonderful. I don't really buy stuff from Starbucks. We just do a lot of coffee at home, but this is the matcha lemonade and it is so good and it gives you a ton of energy, which I actually kind of need right now. So I'm drinking this. You can grab something to drink and let's get started. You can tell by the color of the drink if it's good or not. Sometimes it's not this deep green. That means they didn't put enough matcha in there and I don't like that. But this is the good color. Okay, let's start off with contour, and this first one will come as no surprise. I feel like I use it in every video. I rave about it. I went through multiple ones of these, and this is the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. Now I've had this one for months and I feel like I am just not able to finish it. There's so much product on the edges. This is in the shade Light Medium. I do have the shade Medium here as well. This one is not as much of a contour for me as the Light Medium, but this product is so beautiful. I use more of a denser, rounder brush. It's not a very fluffy. I use something like this BK Beauty 106 because see, it's a little bit more rounded. It's not too big. I like a bronzer, so I can really contour my face with this. This is disgusting, by the way. I'm so sorry. But I use this product pretty much every single day. I use this to contour my nose, my cheeks, a little bit on my forehead, and I think it's wonderful. It's almost a transparent contour. It's not very intense in color, but because of that and the formula that's so emollient, it just works. It makes you look like you're contoured, but people wouldn't even be able to tell if you're wearing something or not. And that's kind of what I want from a product. It is luminous, but for what I use it, it doesn't really affect, the product or how it sits on the skin. I think it is just my favorite contour that I have in my collection and that I just reach for every single day. The next one is a close second, and this I think has been just my favorite for many, many years, but I don't use it as much as I use the Makeup by Mario. But this is the Westman Atelier contour stick in the shade Biscuit. I do have the shade Truffle as well, but that's all I have left of this one, and the color is perfection. If you're around my skin tone, even lighter, it's so beautiful. It's not too gray. It almost has this tiniest bit of purple in there, which gives you the most subtle contour. And you saw, like, I put a pretty intense swipe of this product on my hand and it just blends in so nicely. You can definitely keep the product more in place. For example, like this, see? Like, it's just more contour right there, but it doesn't look harsh. It's perfect. I do have here the color Truffle that is also great if you have a little deeper skin. I use this sometimes for just a bronzer on my skin. It has a little bit more red in it than that more kind of gray purpley tone. So it depends how deep you are. You can use different shades, and I think they have another shade that's even deeper. The third product is probably a surprise for many of you, but they're these Victoria Beckham contour Stilo sticks. Now, these are very expensive for how much product you get, but I use these so much, mainly for nose contouring and lip contouring. I don't really go all over my face with these just because there's not a ton of product here. And I think the beauty of these, besides the color, look at this color. This is perfect. for contouring. I want this formula and color in a chunkier stick so I can use it all over my face, but I mainly use this for my nose and to contour my lips. I think it is a perfect color. This is the color Travertine. I also use it around my eyes. What I do is I take this deeper shade, which is called Marble, and I use this kind of similarly as I use the lighter one, but just a little bit more precise. So for example, on the lips, if I use the lighter one all over, with this one, I'm just gonna go like, that's it, there. You know, very, very precise work. On the nose, I may just go like right here rather than all over, just wherever I feel like I need a little bit more depth in contour. Let's make sure I blended that out. Yeah, I mean, I just used my finger a little bit and you saw how it blended out. So these from Victoria Beckham, even though they're so expensive and I just hate the price, I do use them a lot and I will absolutely repurchase them. Again, a product that's kind of niche for me. I don't use it all over my face, and that's not because they're not good for all over the face, but I think the beauty of these are just how slim they are and how easy they are to blend, mostly on a nose, kind of like mine that, you know, has some bumps a little bit. I think a product like this is just very helpful. Now this year, Makeup by Mario introduced this product, which is, actually I can't remember the name of it, the Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. Now I love this one almost as much as I love the Skin Enhancer. So in my opinion, the Skin Enhancer and this serum are pretty much the same thing, just a different packaging, and a little bit the formula is different, but it gives you again that very sheer contour to your face. I am using the shade Light Medium in this one as well, and it's perfect. The contour is right here, or bronzer. I just use it more as a contour, and you can see how blendable it is, and it just becomes one with your skin. It just gives a shadow where it's needed. It has a pump, which I actually never ever use. I only take this spoolie from here and I go straight on my face. Is that the most sanitary way to use it? No, but it's just what I do. And then the last one in this category, it's between two of them, and I'm not sure which one I would pick, so I'm just gonna kind of mention them both. I'm talking about these two drops. This one is the Armani Luminous Silk Glow Liquid Bronzer, and then we have the Ciele Bronze and Protect SPF 50. Now I think the color of the SPF is better as a contour. This is the color 2. Look at that color. Oh, that's a perfect contour for my skin. This is a little bit more intense than all my other contours. As you can see, it has more pigment, but I work it into the brush and then I go on my cheeks to contour, and it's beautiful. It's such an incredible product. I think it was released this year, and honestly it's very similar to my Armani drops. Now these, you do have to shake them. They are much more liquidy, and this shade is the shade 90. It's much lighter. Look at that. It's very, very light, and it's even more liquidy and blendable than the Ciele. Oh, the finish, it ends up being a little bit powdery as a finish, like velvety powdery, and it is beautiful. I feel like I can't pick between these two, which one's better than the other. They do very similar things. If you are looking for a specific color, just look at both of these products because they have very different colors and they're perfect. For me, I use the color 190 from the Armani drops, and I have used that product since it was released, I want to say a couple years ago, and it's still one that I reach for a lot. The only thing is that it is a pipette, so you do have to put it on your hand and then take a brush. With these other contour products, you just kind of swipe them on your face. It's easy. Anyway, so I feel like that's the one negative about these pumping or pipette kind of products, is that it's just a little bit extra work to get the product on your skin. And I will be 100% honest, because of that, many times I will go for my Westman Atelier contour or my skin enhancer from Makeup by Mario, just because it's faster, and most of the time I'm in a hurry. I'm a mom of 4, so I just reach for what's fastest, but these are wonderful. Moving on to bronzers, and I feel like this was very difficult. I have loved so many different bronzers this year. So many new bronzers were introduced, and I want to say most of these are new, but let's just starting with a little one. This is the RMS bronzer in tan lines. I actually have a few different colors. Look how messy this looks. It's because I've used it so much. I like the compact. It's small. The product is this kind of baked luminous bronzer. Is it baked though? Because I feel like I said that once and somebody said that it's not actually a baked formula. It just kind of looks... So whatever formula it is, it's super soft. It's very luminous. You can see right there, but don't be scared, because I was a little kind of scared when I saw how glowy this looked on swatches. It's so beautiful. Once you blend it into the skin, it just gives you the most natural bronzy look to your face. Look at that. Oh, I love wearing this in summertime because I just feel like a bronze goddess, you know, with like big curly hair and like bronzy skin. I just feel like, I don't know. I can't really remember if this was sent to me or I purchased it, or maybe I asked the brand for it. I can't really remember, but it's a wonderful formula and I'm very happy to have it. I think they have 4 or 5 different colors, stories. I'm not sure, but yeah, I have this one in Malibu something, and they both work for me. Next bronzer is this one from Valentino. This is special because it was sent to me by one of you guys, and I'm just so thankful because to this day I was not able to find it in store where we're at, and online they're always sold out. So one of you guys saw it and thought of me and just went ahead and purchased it and sent it over. And I am so thankful because it has become one of my go-to bronzers. This also has that glowy bronzer. As you will see, I do enjoy a glowy bronzer as long as it's not shimmery. So this color is the universal color, I'm pretty sure, universal bronze. It is so beautiful. It's creamier than the RMS. The RMS feels almost, like I mentioned, baked, and not as much gets picked up. With this one, you do pick up quite a bit. If you are familiar with the blush formula, the bronzer formula is a very similar, where it's so soft, it almost feels like a cream. It is luminous, but again, it's very flattering on the skin. It doesn't look glowy necessarily on the skin. It just looks like you're alive and not just flat. The only thing is, obviously, this packaging is very cheap. It's plastic. This is not the original packaging. This is just a refill. The original packaging looks something like this, but it's over $200 if I'm not mistaken. So I think most people just use this cheap old packaging that the refillable comes in. It works. It's great. I don't care. The product is wonderful. The next bronzer is this Dolce & Gabbana bronzer. This one is actually quite different from the other ones because this doesn't have that luminosity kind of glow to it. It's quite a matte powder, but it's still soft and very blendable. It's not dry on the skin. The color is a little lighter, as you can see right there. And because of that, this could work a little bit as a contour shade as well. It's right there. It's a very soft, but once you blend it in and like add a little bit more of it, it really builds up quite nicely. Even though it says that there's no actual glow to it, because the formula is so creamy, I do find that it's right there. It just doesn't look flat and matte on the skin. It's a very, very flattering. Again, the shade is so light, but it works on me. It works even now that I'm a little bit more tan. I got it self-tan a few days ago, but this color, I can still use it. It's beautiful. It's very creamy, almost feels like a powder cream formula, and it was a huge surprise. The packaging is also very beautiful. I discovered Dolce & Gabbana Beauty this year, and I actually loved a lot of their products. The next one is gonna be no surprise. I feel like I've talked so much about this product, but this is the Armani Luminous Silk Bronzer. This again has a lot of glow in it, and if you look at it, mainly when you open it, it looks like it has shimmer and glitter in it, and it kind of scares you. Honestly, it almost scared me when I tried it, but you don't see that glitter on the skin. It's so refined, and it just makes you look like you have just perfect skin, almost filter-like. It is so beautiful and glowy, and just it's not too much, you know? Even though, like, when you look at it, you're a little scared. You're like, wow, am I gonna just be beaming? But no, it's actually very refined in my opinion, and it just makes your bronzer look, again, healthy and not matte, not like a contour. It looks like a true bronzing, healthy bronze that you have naturally. So I really enjoyed this one. This is in the shade 100, and I have the shade 110. That one has a beautiful deeper red undertone, which when I'm tan in the summer, it is absolutely gorgeous. It is so beautiful, and you get a ton of product in here. A beautiful mirror, which I use all the time. If I travel, I will bring this bronzer just for the mirror because it's a good quality mirror and massive. 18 grams of product. That's a ton of product. And then the fifth bronzer this year, honestly, I had such a hard time picking one, but I decided on these Chanel kind of face palettes, and I was hesitant putting these here because you do have a blush and a highlighter, but the one I picked is the deeper one, which is the medium rose gold. This is the bronzer I'm wearing today, and I thought it was appropriate just because I literally take my whole just bronzing brush and just mix all of these together and then use this as an all-over bronzer. So I felt like for me this is a great just all-in-one bronzer, but you could, you know, separate the blush and the highlighter. The highlighter is a little deep for me, which is why I just use it all as a bronzer, but it gives the most beautiful, again, natural glow right there. This does have a scent, by the way. It has that kind of Chanel-y scent. Where am I going to put this? Right here. I truly love the formula of these Le Beige bronzers. There's something that looks natural when I apply it on my cheeks. It's not too intense. It's not too, again, pigmented. It's perfect. And I do love, actually, this blush by itself. I think it's, look at that. It's so beautiful. But just mixing all of these, I think it gives that kind of a bronzer with a little bit of blush in it, but it will pass as a bronzer, just a more refined one. So look at that glow. These have really stayed in my top drawers since I've tried them, and it's been months. I want to say 6-7 months since I've tried them, and I still love them. This is the medium coral, probably my perfect one out of all of them, and then the light coral is right here, and I love them all. I'm glad I have all these colors. Are they truly just a bronzer? No, you can use it in so many different ways, but I decided to include it in the bronzer category just because I mainly use that medium rose as a beautiful just bronzer that gives me nice glow. There have been so many other bronzers that I absolutely love this year, and it was just hard to only pick one. For example, I love these Mob bronzers right here. They're like clay bronzers. They are wonderful. A great option that I think I've talked so much about are these Hourglass face palette. I don't think I'm going to do face palettes this year, so I'm just going to kind of sprinkle this in any of the color stories that they came out this year. Hourglass, they're incredible. I have used them so much, and this is the lightest one. There's an Evil Eye and the Lotus one. I can use all three of them, and I think the quality is incredible, how much product you get. So I'm just going to sprinkle these in just because I don't think I'm going to have a category for them. Let's move on to the blushes, and this has been the hardest for me to pick, the blushes, and I think the lip products are going to be just so difficult for me. This has been the year of blushes. I feel like there's been so many liquid cream blushes releases, and that's my thing. I love a liquid cream blush. So let's just go ahead and start with a cream blush. Now this one has been the biggest surprise this year for me, and I don't know why. It's the Rhode blushes. I just feel like I had very little expectations of these. I feel like they were so hyped up, and whenever a product's so hyped, I just question it. Is it really that good, you know, or just people on TikTok just hyping it up? Because I've seen that many, many times. But this, it's worth the hype. I think this, in my rankings of blushes, was my number one of all the new liquid and cream blushes that came out. It is pigmented, it's blendable, it's glowy, but yet it doesn't emphasize pores. The formula is excellent. I love the colors. This one right here is the color Freckle. Every color is so modern, so well thought out. I think they are beautiful, blendable. You can also build them up if you do want to. You can use these on your lips. There's this glowiness to them. I love them. 10 out of 10, except the packaging. I don't like the packaging. It's a little too chubby. If it was just skinnier, I think I would have liked it better. Now, if you have a really deep skin, these colors may not work. I have seen an influencer, I can't remember her name, but she has really rich, deeper skin, and she tried these and they looked quite ashy on her. So just be aware of that. The next blush formula is the new Armani liquid Luminous Silk liquid blushes. Beautiful. This color specifically, I have talked about this in so many videos, so I'm not gonna stay here long, but just look at that color. Just look at this. The formula is incredible. It's not too glowy. It's not matte though. It blends in really nicely. It's not overly pigmented, but it's buildable. Perfect. Perfect liquid blush. Even if you're not into liquid blushes, I think you could enjoy this one, and they last on me so well. And I decided to pick this specific color because it is my favorite and very, very unique. The next blush is a powder blush, and I specifically picked this color. I discovered this one maybe 6 months ago, and I just can't put it down. This is the Hourglass blush in Sublime Flush. Look at this color. There is some purple in it. There's some peach. There's some warm rose in it. It is beautiful. It reminds me of like a fairy. That's just the vibe that this blush gives me. It is glowy without being too much. I can wear it on its own. I can use it as a topper. I love this blush so, so much. I am not one who will just pick an Hourglass individual blush because I have so many bigger palettes from Hourglass. But this one, yes, I will forever have this in my collection. I've used it so much, and it's just very flattering, I think, on my skin. And honestly, probably if you have lighter skin tones, I think it would look beautiful. If you have deeper skin tones, obviously you can see how light that is. There's other colors for you, but it is so beautiful. It's glowy goodness. I did, I think, a reel with this one, and I think you can tell the color there a lot better than me just kind of swatching it here. I don't think it does it justice. It is a fair color, but if you build it up, it does become quite pigmented. So it's gorgeous. It's like a fairy color. I absolutely love this one. The next blush is from Chanel, and this was released this year. And I'm not specifically talking about just this color, but the formula. These are the new kind of cream to powder blushes. I think I've talked in 3 different videos this month about this blush. I love it. I love this formula from Chanel. I think this is my favorite kind of cream to powder formula in my entire collection. It's almost putty-like. These do remind me a little bit of the MAC blushes. Oh, look at that color. But they're not quite as squishy as those, which I actually quite like because on the cheek it looks even blurrier than those. Wow, maybe I should wash my hand. So I personally prefer this formula better than the MAC one. I think it is a perfect formula. This is the beige color. I have 2 other ones, a rosy one. Let me get those. I know I just showed these to you in my, I think, best luxury of 2024, but this red color is perfection. Look at that. Oh, it's like blurring So good. These do smell, by the way. They have just that kind of Chanel scent. It's a little more toned down than the really intense Chanel scent, but it's still there. And then this one is absolutely stunning. Let me see the color. It's Rose something. Rose Ardente. I want the other shades as well. I think there's 2 other ones, and I will pick them up. Next time I'm in Chanel, I'm going to pick them up because I just can't put these blushes down. They're very easy. There's like, you can see that there's some luminosity to it, but there's no shimmer or anything in the pan. I just think the biggest difference that I find with these compared to other kind of cream to powder formula is the blurriness that these have and longevity. These will last on my cheeks all day long. So I feel like this is where Chanel shines. Okay, the formula, if you have more mature skin with pores and wrinkles, you need this. This is perfect for that. And then the 5th blush, I just had to put my Valentino blushes. You guys know I love this formula for a few years now since I discovered it. I can't put these down. They just have to be in my collection. I have a few new shades. I think this is the shade 9. Such a cool shade. Oh, look at that. This has the same formula that feels like cream, but it's actually fully powder, like the bronzer. And this shade is a very interesting shade. It's supposed to be more of a rosy nude, a little bit of peachiness in it too. But yeah, in different lights, it looks a little bit different, and it almost looks wet on your cheeks. And then I have the shade 08 right here, the shade 9 and the shade 8. It actually looks quite like a peachy rose. It's so beautiful. And let me put the Hourglass one next to them just so we can see the color difference. Here's the Hourglass, and then shade 8 and 9 from Valentino. Can you tell? I hope you can see. Let's see. This Valentino formula looks like it's a cream. Can you tell? It truly looks like there's a cream there, but the Hourglass, you can tell that it's powder, you know, you blend it in and it does have that beautiful glow. But with a Valentino, you would think that these are cream products. So that is so special to me. I think the formula is just something else from Valentino, and I know they're expensive, but I think they're worth the money. I do want to give an honorable mention to these Hourglass blushes. I love these liquid blushes. The reason they didn't make it in my top 5 is that I think the application can be a little bit more difficult. If you have long nails, you cannot press this button that releases the product. So you're supposed to kind of do this and, you know, the product just comes out. The formula is 10 out of 10. I absolutely love it. It's very glowy. So if you have drier skin, this is heaven, okay? I actually mix these 2 colors a lot. The color Moment and Scene, I love mixing these 2 together. It's pretty much my signature blush when I wear these. I'm going to put a little bit of both, and I just love the combo of these. Look at that color. It's so beautiful. They are very easy to blend, but you have to have a specific brush. Don't get a brush that it's too big. I'm using their brush, the number 15. And with a brush like this, it's perfect. It's exactly what I would use for a formula like this because it is quite liquidy. And so you don't want it to go everywhere. You just want it a little bit, you know, just where you would like a blush. If I have a brush that it's too big, I have noticed that the blush can come down and a little bit too high up just because it is so emollient and liquidy. So I prefer to use this with just a smaller brush. But I think the formula is beautiful. It just gets a couple points down because the packaging can be a little difficult to get out. If you have long nails, just good luck. I'm glad that category is over because that was the most difficult one for me. Highlighters, I have to say that I have barely worn highlighters this year. I feel like they're the same old that I love. I do have maybe a couple that are newer ones that I've been reaching for, but I can't say that highlighters excite me much anymore. I feel like the blushes that I use already have so much glow to them that I don't feel the need to put another highlighter on top of that, with a couple exceptions. Of course, we're going to start with the Westman Atelier Peau de Pêche. I feel like I'm a broken record. How many years have I talked about this? This is perfection for me. This is my perfect, just highlighter. There's something so unique about the color, the texture, the way this sits on the skin. I'm going to put it on. And this is another one that I have used so much and I cannot even hit pan because I need so little. So I'm just going to add a little bit right here. Look at that. It has this almost a little bit of a peachy, cooler undertone, which I think makes the color just so much brighter than you think if you swatch it. It catches the light just perfectly. This is perfection. I'm going to stop talking about it. I think I've talked about this since I started my channel. Okay. The next product is this one from Victoria Beckham. This is in the shade Pearl. She did come out with another shade that had a little bit of bronziness to it that I really want, but this one is perfect. I mean, it doesn't have a ton of actual pigment. It's just more this, you see right there, this just glossiness, goodness. I'm going to put it right here. It's perfection. I take my finger and then I go in. I don't swipe it on. I love the formula. I love the color. I love that there's no actual shimmer in it. It just makes you look like you have the most glowy glow that has absolutely no sparkle and no glitter and no texture to it. I think I've had this for over a year and I still have quite a bit left of it and I do use it quite often. It's just beautiful. Look at that. I love it. Another cream highlighter are these from KJH brand. I think I've talked about these quite a bit in the beginning of the year, but I still use them. I still love them. The color Light Copper is my favorite. It looks quite intense. This was actually the one I had underneath the pot de pêche, but it looks quite intense. But once you blend it out and put it on your cheeks, it's right there. Look how beautiful it is. Now you do have the serum that you put it in and it will make it much more liquidy and more glassy like. And they usually come with this brush as well. Now in the beginning you were only allowed to buy these as a kit, and I think now you can buy individuals, which are great because I have 3 of these brushes, 3 of these serums, and I don't need 3 of everything. I just want different colors to play with. So these are still I think my top 5 highlighters, even though I just don't wear a ton of highlighters. If I do reach for highlighters, I'm very likely to use one of these. The next one is a new release for me this year, and these are from Gucci. These are the Gucci Glow Highlighter. This one specifically I love. This is an Opal Pink 04. This reminds me so much of my Dior rosewood color that I use as a highlighter, but I also use it kind of all over the face. Very kind of similar vibe, but these are so intense. You can make them intense or you can have them softer. For example, if I just add a little bit right here, I added it right there. It's like barely noticeable, but if you go in and build it up, you can have quite a lot of glow. The formula is really nice. I like this kind of, again, gelish kind of formula. Like you can see, you can imprint your finger in there. The brush you use is so important. If you use a lighter area brush, it'll give you just a barely there highlighter. If you use something that is more dense, it will pack a ton of glow. So I usually use something a little bit more airy just to give me kind of barely there highlighter, but you can get a ton of glow from these. And then the last highlighter is a powder highlighter, which is this one right here from Dolce & Gabbana. Again, I tried Dolce & Gabbana this year, so this is new for me. And I love this powder highlighter. This is in the shade Universal. Are there any other shades? I don't even know. I use very little of this and I buff it into my skin. And it does look like a highlighter, but not that super intense see from above highlighter. It's a softer, more skin-like highlighter. And to get that effect from a powder highlighter is quite difficult, to give you almost that wet look, but barely there. I hope I'm making sense. I think if you're looking for that kind of highlighter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is just gorgeous. I love the color. It's a little peachy, it's a little rose, it's a little champagne-y. I put it right there and you can see that it just Looks like it's perfecting your skin while giving you just a little bit of glow. Look at that. It's gorgeous. It is such a beautiful natural highlighter, and that's exactly what I want. And obviously the packaging is very beautiful. It's not as heavy as the bronzer. I prefer this packaging. It feels nice and hefty. This feels a little bit more plasticky, but the design is prettier. So there's that. And those are all the products that I wanted to share with you guys today. Of course, I would love to know some of your favorite products, and make sure you are subscribed down below. You can even have your notifications on so you know when I'm uploading new videos, because the next one will be part 3, where we're going to talk about lips and eyes and all the other good stuff, which I think it's going to be quite difficult for me to pick from all the lip products that I have. But that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.